Right, good morning everyone. Welcome to today's shared learning event. Today's event is titled Breaking the Inertia, Bell Equipment's Wow Journey of Getting Back to Lean. It is a hybrid event, so we obviously have people that are participating in person as well as people that are participating virtually online. So obviously I'd like to welcome all of those that are here today at Bell Equipment to the in-person element of the event, and I'd also like to formally welcome everybody that is participating virtually. I do trust that everybody does derive benefit from today's session. Today's session is delivered as part of the shared learning program through the various clusters that we manage. Those include the Durban Automotive Cluster, the East Cape Automotive Industry Forum, the Durban Chemicals Cluster, eThekwini Furniture Cluster, Cape Clothing Textile Cluster, KZN Clothing Textile Cluster, as well as the South African Automotive Benchmarking Club. It's important to note that the company I represent, BMA, takes no representation or warranty for any kind of inaccuracies as a result of this event. We obviously always endeavor to deliver value-added sessions, but ultimately it's up to each of you to decide how you're going to try and implement the elements of these sessions. You will see there is a registration code that is on the screen for those that are participating virtually. If you click on this code, you will be able to register. You will see it a little bit later as well, so if you miss it now, you can click on the QR code and register for today's session, and I would encourage you to do so. It's also important to note that we always need to adhere to the competition law, so it's important to acknowledge that everybody that is present here, as well as participating in the session, agrees to adhere to the rules of the competition law and will not undertake any actions which contravene those particular laws as are in place. It's also very important that we acknowledge the funders. These type of events would not be able to take place without our funders. It obviously includes the private sector. Many of the firms that are participating today participate in our clusters and obviously do contribute towards their ongoing existence. But it's also critically important to acknowledge the public sector funders, without which support these clusters would not be able to operate. Those include the eThekwini municipality, the province of the Eastern Cape, as well as Invest Cape Town and the City of Cape Town in the Western Cape. In terms of today's session, we're obviously busy with the welcome. We will then get into the crux of the session, why we are here, and that in essence is to touch on Bell's lean journey, but also to highlight what is required in terms of initiating a lean journey. Then there will be an overview of Bell Equipment. They will then further outline their lean approach and their journey that they have embarked on in terms of lean implementation and adoption. And then we'll have a question and answer session before we formally wrap up the session later on. For those that are participating virtually, please look to submit any questions and comments, and we will definitely look at responding to those. Obviously, those that are present here in person, we will also encourage you to contribute and ask questions towards the end of this particular hour-long session. You'll see there is a light bulb on the screen, and that is a challenge that I pose to everybody participating today. The challenge is to walk away, leave this particular session with at least one new idea. So obviously there is an onus on ourselves, on Bell, to highlight what we are doing or what they are doing, but the challenge is on you to really look for those opportunities that you can implement within your own organization. That's the light bulb. Look out for those light bulb moments, those new ideas that you can take away and go back to your organization and say, this is something we can implement within our own organization to make it better. Obviously, if you get more than one, great. But at a minimum, I'd like each of you to leave with at least one new idea that you can look at introducing within your own organization. Just to quickly recap, the shared learning program has started with a bang this year. We've had some really good sessions on renewable energy, on managing supply chains, as well as on attendance excellence with a number of firms participating in those particular sessions. We obviously got a hybrid session taking place at the moment, and then over the next couple of months, I'm very happy to say that we have got 4 sessions on unpacking the 4 Ps cultural framework with Mike Jose's. Some of you may recall we had a session with Mike last year. We had well over 200 people participate in that session. It was one session that touched on each of these issues, and the feedback was unanimous that we needed to look to arrange more more detailed session on each of these. So Mark has agreed to run 4 sessions over the next couple of months, hour-long sessions, but where he will go into a bit more detail in terms of the 4 Ps framework. Mark is one of the leading, he doesn't like us to use the word experts, but thought leaders in this particular space. He co-authored the Toyota Culture, the Heart and Soul of the Toyota Way with Jeffrey Leica. Some of you may be familiar with Jeffrey Leica's work, Womack and Jones, that type of thing. So Mark is up there with them. So I would definitely encourage not only yourselves, but as many of your employees to participate in these sessions. And in that regard, look at signing up your people for these particular engaging sessions. And lastly, we have a WhatsApp group as another form of communication. So if you also want to just almost get invites before everybody else does, or just be aware of what's taking place, definitely sign up for our WhatsApp group. We try not to bombard you with too much information, but just the relevant information related to these particular events. All right. So in terms of today's session, it's to touch on the lean journey at Bell Equipment. So what I'm presenting here is some of the theory. So what are the most important elements that firms need to consider when embarking on a lean journey? And this, again, is taken from various sources, including, Womack and Jones, A Machine That Changed the World, The Toyota Way by Jeffrey Leica. But it highlights that leadership commitment, senior management commitment is critically important. Strong commitment, active involvement from top management are essential for the success of a lean journey. I mean, I'm stating the obvious, but it's important just to reiterate that point. Employee involvement, and I think that will come through very clearly today, well, quite strongly today, both the first item as well as the second item. Employee involvement. Employees at all levels should be actively engaged and empowered to contribute towards a lean journey. Continuous improvement, Kaizen, CI is at the core of lean. Organizations should foster a culture of continuous learning and improvement, encouraging small incremental changes to processes, systems, and practices. So the recording as well as these slides will be made available to you. So I just wanted to highlight that point. Value stream mapping, and it's understanding your process. It's a term, value stream mapping, but it's understanding the end-to-end and identifying value-added and non-value adding activity is crucial. I mean, when I engage with companies, I say, what is the value-added activities? What are the non-value added activities? And often that then talks about the last one, waste reduction, understanding the 7 or 8 waste of manufacturing. But lean ultimately focuses on identifying and eliminating waste in all its forms. And there will be some insights in terms of what those wastes are a little bit later. It is mentioned there, overproduction, weighting, transportation, overprocessing, inventory defects, and very, very importantly, underutilized talent. So ultimately, how is that being reduced on an ongoing basis? That's just a very high-level overview of the key elements that firms need to consider. The next slide just highlights a visualization of that, how to begin your lean journey, the current state, setting your goals and objectives. Where are you going? Where do you want to what is your objective? And the point will be made, this is a journey, the end goal keeps moving, but it is a journey that firms need to be embark on. Obviously, building that lean culture, implementing the right tools and techniques, managing change, continuous improvement and sustainability, and then very importantly, measuring and evaluating lean progress. And each of these elements will be touched on today by Bell, both in the video that you'll see a little bit later, as well as what you'll see on the floor. All right, that's my bit. I think I've said far too much. We will now hand over to Bell Equipment. The reason we are here today is obviously to learn from them. Just from my side, I'm obviously extremely happy and privileged that Bell Equipment and Tim in particular had agreed to assist us in this particular event. I was mentioning earlier that I remember when I was studying many years ago, we often used to talk about sort of like case studies within the South African context. The first heart transplant taking place in South Africa, the creepy crawly being invented here, the dollar, so things you see at the harbours, and Bell Equipment was often mentioned in the same space. Bell Equipment is institutional in the South African environment. It's a global brand, but it was born in Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa, and is synonymous with South Africa. So I'm very happy that Bell has agreed to host today's session, and I do believe that we'll be able to, that everybody should be able to derive real benefit and insight from this event. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Tim for a quick introduction, and then we'll watch the video a little bit later.
Thank you, Sean. Welcome everyone to Bell Equipment. We're really proud to be part of this company, and really keen to show you guys what we've done here today. So looking forward to the walk around today, and that will be good. Yeah, Sean, thanks for that. The lean road that you showed us on the journey there looks a lot more direct than the path that we've taken. It's been a difficult journey. It's been a lot of learning and a lot of fun. So just to start off, I'd like to really acknowledge the team, the Bell team, and starting right from Dominic Chinnapin, our director of the manufacturing concern here. He started looking at reinitiating our lean journey about 2 years ago, and really started the focus on that. We decided that in order to get this going again, to break the momentum, we needed to have a catalyst. And we looked through some of the consultants that are available, right from highly theoretical consultants right through to just various other people and people that had been in industry and had done this journey themselves. And we settled on a group called Designy. They've come along, and really probably the main reasons that we chose them was because they have a more of a practical approach than the theoretical people. And yeah, it's been a good journey and a lot of learning from them. So thank you to Designy for that. I'd also like to acknowledge the team, the Bell team itself, right from our general managers right down to the welders and operators. So everybody in the team has played a significant role. The operators themselves have come along on the journey, sometimes not knowing where we're going. The industrial engineering team has also been instrumental in actually executing the things that we needed to be done. The production managers, they've also obviously had to do the stuff. And then it comes to the rest of us management teams, just really there to support. And that's been good. Sean, I think that's from an introduction point of view. We'll get into the detail a little later.
All right, thank you very much, Tim. So what we're going to do now is we're going to watch a short corporate video of Bell, just so there is a familiarity of the company and the organization before we get into the detail of the lean journey. So I'm going to play the corporate video and we'll watch that for a couple of minutes.
Underground mining.
My name is Sean Ellis and I'm the head of shared
Special
learning.
applications. In each instance, the company is driven by its philosophy to provide its customers with the lowest cost per ton equipment solution to maximize productivity and operating efficiency. Through our in-house design capacity, we are able to continue Irvin's approach of listening to customers and providing innovative solutions. This ensures that our machines are robust and purpose-built to suit the ever-changing needs of the market. Every part of the manufacturing process, from fabrication and welding to final assembly, takes place at the company's world-class factory facilities. Fitted with state-of-the-art equipment, the factory follows stringent quality systems and finished products are quality checked using the latest procedures and technology. Safety is integrated into our products and processes. A risk assessment philosophy is practiced both in the factory and in the design of our products, which integrate class-leading safety features. Bell machines are distributed throughout Africa and shipped to all corners of the world. But this is only half of our story. Our strong, reliable support is part of our strength in achieving global success with our strong, reliable machines. Apart from offering unrivaled technical backup, often in remote locations, we also provide comprehensive training packages to ensure that machine operators and technical staff are fully competent and confident to ensure maximum productivity and efficiency from their Bell machines. Whether it's planned or unexpected maintenance, our promise is to provide backup whenever and wherever it is needed. Our global logistics center in Johannesburg is at the heart of this promise. A sophisticated modern warehousing center that never sleeps to ensure the dependable supply of genuine Bell parts across the globe. In order to provide our Northern Hemisphere customers with the same promise, our European Logistics Center in Elsfeld, Germany is equally equipped to deliver. Coupled with this delivery, our manufacturing plant in Eisenach-Kindl, Germany produces machines to the same high-quality standard that our customers have become accustomed to. Bell is focused as a manufacturer on providing solutions throughout the life cycle of our machines, assuring customers that whatever the choice, new, used or refurbished, satisfaction, good value and affordable solutions are guaranteed. Bell Lubricants, a tailor-made range of greases and oils for all your machines. Bell Fleetmatic, our own satellite fleet management system. Bell Extended Warranty, giving customers peace of mind. Bell Pre-Owned Machines, creating opportunities for those entering the industry. Bell Finance, providing customized finance solutions. Bell Reman, offering quality remanufactured components restored to original factory specs. And an extensive collection of product manuals and application advice. With a range of over 150 products, Bell Equipment is here to meet your needs. Into the future, we will continue to be driven by technological innovation and the core values upon which this company was founded, to focus on ways to unearth even greater value for all our stakeholders. Join us in this exciting journey. Choose Bell Equipment and become part of our family.
All right. All right, thank you very much. Trust there was interest. Just provide some insight in terms of Bell Equipment and who the company is. We're now going to go back to Tim, and Tim's going to delve a bit more into their lean approach, which they've termed WOW, War on Waste. So Tim's got some slides that he's going to go through, and then we're going to watch a video that was specifically made for today's particular event. Very much.
Thanks again, Sean. I forgot to thank you personally, Sean, for putting together today's session. Sean's worked for the last probably month on putting today's session together. So can we have a short round of applause for Sean? I think you might have had a team helping you, but you'd have to thank them personally. Okay, our War on Waste. We came up with this title as a steering committee right in the beginning of the journey, and I'm just going to take you through probably a 5-minute presentation on how we tackled this. We based it on a lean model that Desani brought to us. We had a couple of focus areas, and then I'm going to go through what happened and the lessons learned. So, very brief presentation. Hopefully the guys that are walking around with us can ask any more detailed questions as we go. Okay, so the lean model, I'm not getting this. The lean model really looks like this, and this is a designy slide essentially. It starts with getting a steering committee together, and initially our steering committee consisted of the general managers in the various sections on the plant here. We also focused initially on the lean foundations, and you can see them there: training, 5S, wastes, performance measurement, and visual management. And we've been in this phase for the last year and a half, 2 years. We've started moving into the project phase on certain areas, but the journey in the red phase, if you like, has been pretty difficult. While it is foundational, it is quite difficult to get that settled in all of the processes. So far, site-wide, we initially did a gap analysis. We then went into implementing the fundamentals in a pilot area so that we could learn some of the lessons that we needed to learn. We tried to get measures in all of the processes. We managed to do it in probably 80 or 90% of the processes in that pilot area. We made the measures visible to the guys on the shop floor, but that again is also challenging. So we have been doing that, but it's not as easy as it sounds. It's it's not just a matter of making sure that you've got a TV screen with the measures up. And then we've started to respond to the numbers, particularly in that pilot area. We then went into a phase of implementing those foundations in the rest of the organisation at Richards Bay. So just to show you what it looked like initially, and these are our ORE numbers from the pilot area. So initially it was highly erratic. It was just purely getting the discipline of measuring on the shop floor. We then had a couple of reschedules on that line. It then started settling down, getting more or less in a band. And in the last section there, you'll see that our scheduling started improving, and we were starting to get better measures. So that was in 2022. Sorry, wrong way. Thank you. Utilization was a focus of our measures. Initially, we wanted to ensure that lost time was under control. And so, if you just look at the utilization figures for the period from 2022 to this runs until September 2023. We started measuring it early. We had some erratic measures, as you saw in that earlier slide, and then it started settling down, and we got to around about a 90% odd utilization, and that is purely from measuring, no other intervention really. So really, there's a theory that says if you measure, you'll get an improvement, and we saw that definitely happening. So 27% is a little overstated because we're taking it right from the early measures, which were erratic and not really meaningful. So in reality, probably a 10% improvement, I would think is more like. This is more current. So from March 2023 to February 2024, and you'll see it stayed fairly consistent for that period. So So we're starting to get more consistent measures, and it's starting to pay off, because now the processes are able to actually interact with the data, because they're starting to trust it. So yeah, good story from this is really from the pilot area. For the rest of the Richards Bay processes, we have a little over 50% of the processes being measured currently. Some of them are in the early stages, but overall, if we look at the entire measure, there has been an improvement going through from 2022 until October last year. This is a fairly old graph, but so we've started to improve, and we're getting more consistent across the entire organisation from a measurement point of view. The other areas that we're looking at is 5S and just some indications of the changes that have happened. This is in the pilot area. We had a fairly haphazard introduction to our powder coating process, and that's been streamlined and organised a little better. We do have visual measurements running in some of the areas, and we've started looking at reducing some of the wastes already. And so this is just a snapshot of the things that we've done. We've also seen cupboards looking a lot better. Previous to this, tools and that were not in their place. Having said that, in our 5S program, we are focusing right now on just the sort aspect of it. We have intentionally kept it only at sort. We are allowing other processes that are further along to go into the set area, but we want to try and keep it a slow and steady pace rather than try and get huge wins. Lessons learned from the pilot area. We found that doing a pilot approach meant that pilot area manager was under a lot of pressure to do a whole lot of their processes and was really oversubscribed. The problem also was that at the same time we were in our largest, our biggest volume production phase. So the last 2 years we've had incredible production. It's been more than we've ever had. So record levels of production, and these guys were under production pressure more than trying to do improvements necessarily. So they had this on their plates as well. Other processes were almost unaware of what was happening, and so therefore it wasn't really a site-wide thing. It was more like just the pilot project happening. So that was probably a negative. What we did find is, though, that the lessons learned in the pilot area could be transferred quite easily to other areas. Measurement of multiple different processes we found difficult. Some processes were really easy. We put devices on our laser cutters, which gave us the ability to actually get the information on productivity automatically. In other processes like our welding bays, we needed to rely on the operator or the supervisor to actually capture that data, and that becomes problematic. Lost time was one of the areas, and lost time, whether it's being reported or not reported correctly, is something that needs to be managed. So something to take note of. The more people you want to measure, the more difficult it is to bed down. There's no focus on that. And also obviously more change management and more time for capturing is required. So there are a whole lot of challenges that come with this, and you need to just be aware of it and deal with it as it comes along. Our supervisors were, in some areas, our supervisors are already oversubscribed. They are responsible for 2 shifts, a single supervisor in some cases, and therefore capturing on the second shift becomes a challenge. Managers requesting the number of the numbers. Okay, so this point is really about senior managers requesting what's happening is quite important to driving the information coming through. So it's pretty much like asking for a month-end report and then your manager not reading it. You eventually stop doing the month-end report. So you have to have senior management asking for this information all the time. Yeah, and that concludes my presentation.
All right, thank you very much, Tim, for that insight in terms of the lean journey. What we're going to do now is we're going to watch a short video that was specifically created for today's event on sort of their journey. There we go.
Program at BMA. The following video is delivered as part of our manufacturing meetup activities on behalf of the Durban Automotive Cluster, the Durban Chemicals Cluster, the KwaZulu-Natal Clothing and Textile Cluster, the eThekwini Furniture Cluster, the East Cape Automotive Industry Forum, the Cape Clothing and Textile Cluster, and the South African Automotive Benchmarking Club. A special thanks is extended to our funders, comprising private sector firms and organizations, as well as the public sector. In this regard, the KwaZulu-Natal-based clusters are supported by the eThekwini municipality, with Invest Cape Town and the City of Cape Town supporting the Cape Clothing and Textile Cluster. And lastly, the province of the Eastern Cape supports the Eastern Cape Automotive Industry Forum. This video that you will see outlines the lean implementation journey at Bell Equipment, located in Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. Bell Equipment, founded in 1954, is a leading manufacturer and distributor of heavy equipment for the mining, construction, agriculture and forestry industries. Their product range includes articulated dump trucks, wheel loaders, excavators and compactors, amongst others. Bell Equipment initiated its lean journey around 10 years ago with the video to touch on their renewed focus and approach to lean, with the support of Design Consulting and their Performer tool, a performance measurement tool. As will be outlined, Bell's renewed focus on lean is termed WOW, which stands for War on Waste. The video will outline the lean focus at Bell on implementing 5S, performance measurement, visual management, and waste identification and elimination. It will further highlight that there is an increased awareness of waste and lost time among employees, with operators comparing performance and sharing knowledge on improvements. The video will also emphasize the importance of employee engagement and ownership in Bell's lean process, and that organization-wide participation is playing a crucial role in driving improvements at the firm. The importance of continuous improvement and sustaining momentum has also been crucial to Bell's lean journey. We trust that you will derive key insights and benefits from this video that will ultimately support the lean journey within your own organizations.
My name is Tim Benningfield. I'm responsible for the lean implementation or re-implementation at Bell Equipment. So Bell started the lean initiative around about 10 years ago. We found that with that initiative, other things got in the way of us continuing with the lean journey properly. Some of the remnants of the 5S remained. But we decided 2 years ago that we needed to reinvigorate that effort, and we needed a catalyst to be able to do that. And that catalyst came in the form of Design, a consulting company that we chose based basically on their ability to be more practical than theoretical about their approach. It seemed to be a really good fit for us. So that was really where we started our journey for real. The approach we took was really to focus on looking at implementing 5S, looking at the performance measurement aspect of it, and then moving into visual management and waste identification. Some of the benefits that we've seen so far are that people are a lot more aware of where their waste is and where their lost time is. We've been able to see that one operator to another is able to compare what kind of lost time they're getting, and where there's a huge discrepancy, taking the better performing operator and allowing him to teach those that are not performing it well. I think participation from everybody in the organization is probably the key to it. So right down to the lowest level guy, he can actually participate in improving the process that he's part of. Probably the most difficult part is to keep the pressure on so that people don't lose focus on continuing with this.
I'm Nishkar Singh. I've been a process engineer here at Bell for the past 10 years now. My daily functions now basically revolve around projects. We've identified a gap in our area where we feel like if we have a project team that heads in for a project, you get it done quicker. So we try and action the low-bearing hanging fruit faster and quicker so that we don't lose out on opportunity. Whereas in the past, when we had individuals based in a production process, we didn't get time to attend to those projects. So you'll find a lot of projects that get left behind, things that can save the company money, were not being attended to. Going lean is very simple. It's a difficult thing to achieve, but simple if everyone is involved, from higher levels right to the bottom. And you'd find that the shop floor has the best ideas if you approach them. So it's a simple thing like asking the guy, what can I do to make your job easier? And hearing it from his perspective will allow you to achieve that goal.
My name is Ernest Mtembu. I work in milk prep department as a production supervisor since 1997, engaged in a company. So what we do in milk prep, we actually processing raw material, from raw material to parts, and we supply to our customers. So on a lean side of it, I was doing a project about transportation of parts from my area to the bending area and also to the customers. And it was a waste where we have to deliver parts from the cutting department to the area outside, and then move it back to the bending, and then move it back outside again. Of which now what we are currently doing now, we cut the part, and after the part is cut, we send it direct to the bending. We get it bent, and then we send it to the holding area inside. So the distance that we're covering now currently is only 16 meters, of which before it used to be 40 meters just to move the parts around. So the cost saving there is on diesel and forklift usage. We can encourage the employees to learn the new styles, adopt in a change, so that they can save money for company, and we also save jobs.
My name is Notando Jadu. I'm a process engineer. I'm currently based at the machine shop. I'm focusing on implementing factory wheels, which is machine monitoring. So we identified 20 machines where we install factory wheels, and then now we're able to see where we're getting our lost time. So it has been a challenge because for me, I think it's a culture change. When you're introducing something, we need to make sure that the people change their behavior somehow. So it hasn't been easy to introduce that culture change, but I think we are getting there.
I'm Reginald Abraham. I've been with the company for the past 30 years. I'm a supervisor at the powder coating fab and the powder coating plant area. We basically manufacture parts for the ADT from the fab right up to the powder coating, packaging, and distribution to our customers. When it comes to lean manufacturing, there's a lot of work to be done to get a streamline on our lean manufacturing within the powder coating. But hopefully by September we'll have a better understanding on the lean manufacturing within our department. We did cover a few cost improvement projects on the powder coating area, and that has led us to reducing some time on a few of our parts that we manufacture. We tried to eliminate a lot of extra time spent in manufacturing parts, whereby we came up with some ideas to make the manufacturing process for certain parts a little bit more faster, whereby we can speed up the process and get the parts to our customer in a quicker space of time.
Hi, I'm Stacey Reddy. I'm the manager for thin plate plant and powder coating. And we manufacture the thin plate kit for the ADT machines, which is the tank and the mud guards and the bumper corners and all the powder coated items that fit on an ADT machine. So when I took over thin plate plant at the end of 2022, that was my first time I was introduced to this WOW project and understanding what Dizani was all about and the improvements that we were implementing in the process. And one of the things we first started was with the implementation of the Performer system, and that system allowed us to improve the efficiency of our process by measuring each employee, each bay, and that allowed us to document accurately the lost time that we've incurred in the processes. And from that, we've then looked at that in detail further to try and improve on all the lost times that we've incurred, and by implementing or eliminating waste within the process. The benefit we've seen is our productivity levels have increased, our WIP has reduced, employees are a lot more motivated, they are more involved in assisting us in root cause analysis. They are taking more ownership of the tasks that they're performing.
I think it's really important to realize that the whole lean initiative is actually just a journey, and it starts very slowly, and there's a lot of momentum to be picked up, and only once you've started to build up that momentum, sustaining it is really what the journey is about, and it's not, there's no necessarily end goal to it. It continues, and I think that's where continuous improvement comes from.
All right. Yeah, trust you found that of benefit and interest. We're now going to open up to questions, on the Bell's Lean journey, and obviously would encourage both the people that are present here today in person, as well as the people that are participating virtually, to ask questions, points of clarification, and ultimately and share as well. If you've got some insight from your own perspective, in terms of what you've done in terms of your lean journey, what's worked, what hasn't worked, please feel free to share. Right, so would anyone like to get the ball rolling on this side? No. Maybe I can start, Tim. So it was highlighted that you sort of formally embarked on this lean journey 10 years ago. Formally embarked on this journey 10 years ago, maybe momentum was lost, and 2 years ago you decided to sort of reinitiate the journey. What were some of the challenges associated with that in relation to not only the system and process, but the people? Because they could have said, we've seen this, we've done this, it's old hat. So how did you try and ensure that you got them back on your side? Maybe talk to some of those challenges in terms of reinitiating this journey, which is something that I think a lot of firms grapple with.
Yeah, sure. And that was definitely something that was foremost in our minds, and we didn't want to disillusion the people that had already done quite a lot of work on the 5S initiative earlier in the 10 years ago, basically, because there were some areas that were still looking okay in terms of 5S. And so we decided to not focus on 5S initially. Whether that was the right decision or not, the jury's out on that. But I think to get the buy-in from everybody in the team it was important for us to say, okay, listen, we're gonna focus on measurement and not 5S initially. And then after about a year of the journey, we said, okay, now it's time. Let's look at the 5S aspects, and that's why we're really at the starting point of the 5S journey now, which is the SWOT. And yeah, so I think that's probably the key area.
All right, thank you very much. We have a question. We won't be able to see you, but we'll be able to hear you.
Thank you, Sean. I'm Ravesha Govender from Itiqueni Municipality, and thank you for hosting us. I'd like to ask about, Tim, I'd like to ask you about your journey going forward with regards to the whole lean management, implementation. How do you envisage? What does it look like? Is it part of Bell's long-term vision to have this lean journey and for it to continue, or do you envisage once you complete it and you go through all the 5S and all of that, the process improvements that it's going to be running and it's going to be part of your system? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that question. A good question as well. I think it comes to that it is a journey, and we kind of know where we'd like to be, but we don't have a clear vision of that. We know that we'd like a continuous improvement culture. We'd like the culture of the entire organization to change to one of where everybody has the ability to say, listen, this process needs to be improved. So yeah, it's continuing. It's forever. And does that answer your question? Yeah, it's very much long term.
Right, thank you. Another question here in the front.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jessica Pillay from Hester Hannes's. Tim, more on what your journey is. It looks that you've taken the step forward. And just some of my learnings when it comes to, it's a top management approach and how we drive this. So I can see that coming from you very strong. And believe me, that's where we're going to sustain this going forward. Recently, I've been asked a question, what do we as management, can do in the organization to sustain? So this was a question posed to me. And then I've said, in order for us to reach to the top, it's a journey. So there's a lot of plans, there's a lot of efforts, a lot of objectives that we've got to do to reach to the top. However, being at the top, it needs a lot of discipline. Once you're there, you've achieved it because you've climbed up that mountain. So very quickly, we do have that problem where, we've got another approach that we use as a global approach. We call it the motor activity. Very, very strongly, they focus on the 3 pillars, which is your 5S standardization. So 5S standardization is your foundation, right? And in order for that to be sustained, I like your approach, is you're using the S1 approach for now. And in my company, we're using the first 2 S's. It doesn't make sense continuing with the 5 S's if the first 2 is not going to be implemented on the go. So in order for us to maintain that, so your pillar 1 is 5S standardization. And very quickly, what happens in organizations is we set the standard, and management tend to focus on other aspects beside, looking at the standards that we have. And very quickly, when we launch a new project, we tend to slip very quick down. So I think that's the learning. And I know you're trying, and you're going to reach that. But we, as you said, you've embarked with your general managers to form the steering committee. Yes, that's the right approach, because that's where we have to sustain that going forward. So basically from my side to the Bell team, you'll have taken the right approach. It's just for us to sustain. Once you're on the top, just make sure that we keep to the standards. And thereafter, the other pillars that we embark on, which can be shared, that how we sustain it going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica from Hester. Any comments you'd like to make on that, Tim?
Thanks, Jessica. I think that's very sound advice. And it really is about management taking an interest. If you seem to be not taking an interest, then the initiative is dead. So you need to be interested in it. You need to want to see the improvement. You need to be involved and help the shop floor to actually do the improvements. Yeah. So thanks.
Thank you very much. So we've got some online questions. Question from Justin. Tim mentioned that one of the key challenges is keeping focus and sustaining energy. Through what mechanisms does Bell reinvigorate motivation with its people? Easy one.
Well, not that easy. So it's probably apparent that I'm a fairly old fart, and I've been in this company for some time. So we have a young industrial engineering team who are part of that, and younger management team that have the energy to carry this forward. And we really are looking at the longer term. I think the one advantage of me being involved in this is that I retire in a few years' time, that I can pass the baton on to people that have the energy to take it further, and that's probably it. We also on the 5S program have integrated into an internal competition, which has some recognition and reward aspects to it, which encourages participation. So yeah.
And then maybe linked, a question from Lorato. In implementing the lean journey, what was there a structural approach on change management and the application of tools? And how do you also tie improvements to profits, making money at the end of the day?
Yeah, change management, there are a lot of theories on that, and I must say it really just comes to getting buy-in from the team. And buy-in comes from being interested and involving people in the decisions that are being made. Finding probably influences as well within the organization.
Thank you very much. Maybe a question from my side. I mean, you mentioned that Desani, a consulting company that you use, I think you use the term catalyst. And maybe you can just touch on what did they bring? What is their role? Obviously, it's not a case, I imagine, of just simply handing over and say, you do the work. What did they bring to the party? Is it the objectivity, the outside perspective? So maybe just touch on, using sort of an external party to support the lean journey within an organization.
Yeah, I think the most important part of that was bringing in people that were external to the company, because within a company, it doesn't matter how expert you have people within the company, generally they will have the stigma of being part of the company and therefore not experts from a group perspective. So bringing external people in helps to break that. I think they're pretty good. I've got Marco sitting here. He's okay. But yeah, they certainly know their stuff, and they've gained credibility in this journey so far. So when we ask questions, we typically listen to their answers, which is important. Yeah.
Right, thank you very much, Tim. There's another question there. Creason.
Morning. It's Creason with the firm GoTech. I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to rands and cents, right? Your whole lean journey in manufacturing. Have you all quantified to date savings? And, I know the one guy mentioned the amount you'll save on diesel and use of forklifts. And are there targets in place that you're trying to achieve? Or is it just something you'll create along the way?
Yeah, good question, and it's a question that comes from the executive as well. So yes, we are aware that we need to have those measures in place, but right now we're focusing on foundational stuff, and we don't want to be chasing the quick wins that won't be sustainable. So sustainability is certainly my goal. Once we have that foundation in place, we are actually in the exciting phase of the project, which is phase 2, which is to start doing projects, and we will quantify the gains that we hope to get from the projects. So that's where we are, and I think that's probably one of the key learnings that I've had personally is hold back as much as you can before doing the lacquer stuff, which is the project, and showing the nice, bright, shiny stuff that, the money.
Thank you very much, Tim. Another question here from Mark Guttridge from Brink Towing. You have a German operation as well and the South African operation. In terms of, have you taken the lead in terms of, let's call it this lean journey? And how does that compare to the European plants? Do they have a different approach, a similar approach? Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, good question, Mark. We have intentionally not taken this initiative directly to Germany initially because we wanted to get the learnings here. So again, it's a measured approach rather than us taking on more than we can actually swallow. So we've had to scope it in. Our intent certainly is to get to Germany, but it'll probably be at the end of the year or so. I'm not sure.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any more questions before we formally close this part of the session?
Germany and the States, or just Germany? Oh, it's here and apart from region.
Yeah, so in terms of our operations, we currently have our manufacturing concern here. We have an assembly plant in Germany. And we are looking at localizing some of the supply to our German plant because transportation is obviously an issue. Yeah.
And the States, is it more sales?
Yeah, the States is a sales operation at the moment. That could change. There's a whole lot of changes happening. So, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to close the session. So thank you very much, Tim. Greatly appreciated your input and insights. Thank you very much. All right. Just in terms of closing, I would like to obviously thank, the official thanks. Obviously, thank our public sector funders. They were mentioned earlier, so thank them again. Thank the event participants, both the in-person participants as well as the virtual participants. And obviously, once again, thank Bell Equipment, Tim and his team for hosting us today. So thank you very much. There is an assessment that I would appreciate everybody completing. You should be able to see a QR code both on your screen if you're participating virtually as well as in person. If you scan that, you should be taken to our assessment form, and it would be greatly appreciated if you could complete that short assessment and provide ratings on today's session in terms of the value received, the facilitation and management, and then important, did you get one new idea? And really think about that. Don't simply, you can say no if you genuinely believe that's the case, but we challenge you to try and derive one new idea from today's event. And then just the last reminder, the next event is the 4P sessions with Mark Jose, taking place from June to August. There are 4 sessions. The formal invite for the first one has gone out already for the 6th of June, but I would encourage not only each of you to participate, but also your employees. Sign them up. This is an opportunity to engage directly and learn directly from an international thought leader, a leading thought leader in the lean space. Lastly, just a reminder, we've obviously got other things that we are busy with. We've got an accelerator program, some really exciting stuff happening in the accelerator space, and a lot of that focus around the development of SMEs. And if you are interested in finding out anything more about our accelerator program, do not hesitate contacting us. We've also got a really exciting skills program focusing on emerging leaders, team leaders, and then also sort of blitzes in relation to lean fundamentals and problem solving. So again, if you want to find out more about those programs, if you're not already participating, please do not hesitate to contact either the programs directly or shared learning as well. With that, from my side, again, I'd like to thank everybody for participating in today's session. Unfortunately, we need to say goodbye to our virtual attendees. I do trust that you did find benefit from today's session, and look forward to engaging with you in our future sessions. As I mentioned, the next one is on the 6th of June, the Mark Jose session. It's from 2 to 3 in the afternoon because he's obviously based in North America, so we needed to accommodate the time zones there. But I really looking forward to having a high number of people participating in that session. Obviously, once again, thanks to our clusters for supporting these activities, and just wishing everybody a good week. Take care, stay safe.